This is a demo of the indoor location system part of the project. We'll start off with the location system itself. When the program first loads, as you can see, you are met with this home screen here, which gives the user on-screen instructions on what to do to use the system. As you can see, it says ID card rather than RFID card. The reason for this is because we want the card to be multi-purpose in the building so that it can be used for multiple things, including ID as well as an RFID card. So start off by scanning the card. As you can see, when you scan the card with the reader, it then queries the database, shows a map and your current location in this box. After a certain amount of time, the screen will then go back to the home screen. The reason for this is that if there was a back button on the screen, often users would not use it due to laziness or not seeing it. The idea is that in future, if the system is a lot bigger, there can be information tailored to each individual user rather than general information as we have now. So by having the ability to go back to the home screen automatically, it means that should a user not press a back button if it existed, they could be taken back to the screen and then the next user can have a tailored information for them rather than potentially seeing the wrong information. As you can see at the bottom here, when you scan the card, it then sends the information to the database with the reader ID attached. The database then returns an image URL of the location map associated with that location, as well as its location to fill the box. The idea is that in future, the system can be expanded to have things such as points of interest and a map which actually shows the points of interest in relation to where you are. Other ideas could be to have the system linked to the timetable database so that should a student, for example, or a lecturer scan their card, it could then tell them where they need to be next and a map of how to get to the next classroom or lecture theatre. It could also be used, for example, in a business environment so that you could have it linked to a calendar database which then gives the user, or maybe it could be a visitor to the office, then a map of how to get to their next meeting room. This concludes a section on the indoor location feature in the indoor location system. We will now start demoing the control panel part of the system, which will give users the ability to add or remove locations and add or remove users. So as you can see, when you first start the program, you're met with this screen. There's a quit button and then boxes to enter username and password and log in. So we will start by logging into the system. Now as you will see, when you log into the system, there are various buttons. Now, as it sends the data to the database with the username and password you have entered, the database then returns some information. In this case, it says that admin is true. So this screen is what the admin will see. Later on, we will log in as a normal user and show what you see if you don't have admin privileges. So we'll start off with a new location screen. Here, you can enter the serial number of the RFID reader as found as a sticker on the bottom. As you can see, it says SN rather than serial number. This is because the sticker on the bottom of the RFID reader says S/N rather than serial number, so I've written it the same to make life as easy as possible for the user. So as you can see, you can enter that there. Then there's also the location name and then the URL that you need to visit to upload an image to be used for the location system, and then the box to enter the name of the image that you have uploaded. So first of all, we will show some data validation that I've put into the system. As you can see at the moment, all fields are blank. If you press submit, there's then an error message appears that says fields cannot be blank. So we will start by putting some random information into a box, but still, other boxes are blank. So if you click submit, it will still say to you fields cannot be blank. So we will work on adding a location. Now if you still leave one more box blank, if you click submit, it still says fields cannot be blank. If you visit the URL as stated on the screen, you're then met with this website. So we will choose a file to upload. In this case, we are going to upload a simple image called star.png. So you choose the file, then click upload, and you're met with this screen. By going back to the system, we can then show some further data validation on this box. So if we just put in star and click submit, it then says please include the extension of the image. So we will put it in exactly as we uploaded it, which was start.png. Then click submit. The boxes are blank, and if you look at the console, you'll see a new location has been added to the database. So you can then press home and go back to the menu. If you go to remove locations, you'll then see a list of locations. This screen shows one of the first problems that was encountered in the system, which is that due to the way that it's a list box and the way the list box is populated with the database method, it carries out this population at the start of the program. So if you add a new location during the process, it will not be listed in this box. But we'll go ahead and select a location to remove. In this case, we're going to remove the top one. So you click that, it then removes the location. As you can see, there's information in place just to say that this is a dummy one with certain information not associated. So for that reason, it gives an error. We'll now go back to the home screen, and this is the start of the areas that only admin can access. So in this case, we will go to new user. Again, there's data validation on the screen. If you click submit, it says you need to enter a user type. But if you select a user type but don't enter the other information, it then says fields cannot be empty. So we will start by creating a test. So we call them test, and we will make them a normal user, which we can use later on to show how once you add a new user, you can then log in as them. But the differences between admin and user. So we'll submit that, and it will then return that new user has been added to the database. So we'll now go back to home and new user. Again, the same problem is hit again. Now, I've previously created a user called test, but I can assure you this is not the same test, as the same problem occurs as happened last time. So we will now pick a user to remove. In this case, you'll remove test. Again, as in the previous screen, with the removing locations, it sends the information to the database of what username to delete, and then it says the room has been removed from the database. Now the final screen is change password. In this screen you can then pick a password. So we will enter a new password, update the password, and it then says password has been changed. So we'll now go home and we will log out. So we'll go back and we will log in with the user we previously created. There we go. As you can see, it failed to log in correctly. So this is because we created two users called test. This is further data validation because it means the username and the password were the same as I entered twice. So when I added a new user, because it matched the previous user, that user was removed and you can't log in. But we will go back now and log in as a different user who only has user rights. As you can see, when you log in, you now don't have the ability to add or remove users. This is because a normal user in the IT department might abuse their privileges and remove or add users that shouldn't have the thorough access to the system. We'll now go back to show the one final feature, which is the quit button. When you click the quit button, it closes the program. This ends the demonstration of the full indoor location system.